Hey, hey, hey. Hang on, so I go turn the fan down. It's making a bit of noise. That's better. Hey, tribe, how are you? Let's see if anyone's going to come on and join me. I hope so. I like it when people are on. God, my hair always goes really fluffy and barley. It's almost like it gets this injection of heat and it just goes... Hey, Rhoda. As you're coming on, guys, I'd love you to say hi and tell me where you're from. I'd love to know where you're from, where you're tuning in from. I think it's the heat, hey? It feels like I've been plugged into the wall. Just let me know if you can hear me okay as well. That would be really cool. Need a bit of... Who else is on? Say hi, tell me where you're from. Oh my goodness, air conditioning's not working. I don't even know what the temperature is here today. I think it's like 37 or 40. It's a beautiful day. It's very, very hot. Okay. So I'm going to get into it. I always flick over so I can't see who's on because it distracts me. Okay, how is everybody? Thank you so much for joining me, and if you're watching the replay later, thank you for listening. So I just wanted to come on here, and I think this actually happened for me when I was back in New Zealand, and that was about 2.5 months ago. So I had this realization about 2.5 months ago, and I call it my biggest breakthrough because it was almost like when I had the realization of this pattern I was doing, it was like a switch went off and I realized the spiral effect on how it went into every part of my life, into my relationship, into money, into myself personally, into my body, into my health, absolutely everything. It was like it just spiraled. When we have these patterns and blocks, which is what I'm going to talk about, we can have one pattern and it has such a layered effect. So you've got a pattern and your pattern's got layers and they're blocks, block. So as you're clearing, when you're going through a pattern, as you're clearing a block, another one comes up, another one comes up, another one comes up. So it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. It's almost like, I suppose, a layer of onion. And once you start peeling off releasing things that you're doing that are making you either stay stuck where you are within yourself, or making you do things that you don't know, making you get shitty, making you get angry, making you react how you do, making you self-sabotage yourself, overwhelm, anything like that is caused by a pattern, which has an underlying block attached to it. So it's almost like as you start peeling off all these different layers, which is what I've been doing over the last 5-6 years, you start coming down into the deeper and deeper and deeper ones. This is where I found myself. So I'll tell you a little story about... Oh God, how old was I? I'm just going to say hello to whoever's on quickly. Who else is on? Hey, Ali. Guys, if you come on, I can't quite see who's on. If you come on, say hi and tell me where you're from. So I'm going to get a little bit personal here, guys, with my life, just so you can understand the importance of, for me, this is about letting you understand the importance of working on yourself and going into the uncomfortable places that you don't want to go, and releasing what needs to be releasing, and really delving into whatever's holding you back, or what's ever creating drama or struggle or self-sabotage or overwhelm in your life. And it may be uncomfortable when you go to these places, and believe me, I was very uncomfortable, but as you do, you start releasing bits of it, bits and bits and bits and bits of different things that actually make you do what you do. Because as we're young, it's we're taught how to, as I've said this before, I mean, you guys have heard me say this so many times, we're taught how to dress, we're taught how to eat, we're taught how what to wear. You know, we form all our beliefs when we're younger. We form our beliefs, which then become into our patterns. That's how we do everything day by day. It's why we have a certain relationship with money, because when we're younger, this is how we were taught how to interact with money. It's when we're around our family. This is how money conversations come up in our house. This is why if, say, you're triggered in a certain way and you can't take yourself past where you are right now, then it's because of something that's happened in your past that you need to come to terms with, deal with, release it, so you can move forward. So I have, as I said, it was probably about 3 months ago when I was in New Zealand, I had the biggest breakthrough of my life. It was the biggest aha moment that it really knocked me on my ass. And it took me a little bit to get through it because I had to release it. But it was a great one. It was one of those ones that you went, oh, fuck, that's why I do that. That's why I keep doing that. But just in a slightly different way. Well, this one was really, really a really obvious one. So let me get to it, because I'm starting to waffle a little bit. I was in New Zealand, and I remember my mum saying to me, why do you keep filling yourself with crap all the time every time you come home? I'm like, I don't know, I'm comfortable, I suppose. I'm at home. And then she started having a go at me about it, and it ended up being a big fight. Like, I ended up having a fight about it and telling her to back off, you know, like you do with your parents. And, you know, I've always come home and emotionally ate. And when I said the word emotionally ate, it sort of stopped me in my tracks. And I said to Mum, listen, I need to take 5. And I went for a walk, and I went and sat down in one of the paddocks. And I really thought about the emotional eating, because I knew that I had a trigger there, because I was a person that I'd get to my ideal weight. Like, I would be looking bloody amazing, you know, feeling amazing. I'd lose the extra kg. I always held about 5-6 extra kgs, 5 to 6 extra kgs, just enough to keep that padding around me. And if I then got to the weight and I'd lose those 5-6 kgs, I would then start to get compliments. And I'd get, oh God, you're looking good. And then I would start to get guys looking at me, and I'd start to get, you know, wolf whistles. And I noticed that people were more drawn to me when I was my ideal frame. And it's a frame that I wanted to be. It wasn't that it was about me. It was about me feeling good about myself. So I'd get to that stage where I'd feel really, really good, and the attention would start coming in. So I'd self-sabotage myself. So I'd start eating, and I'd start drinking alcohol again. But I would only put on enough as a protection layer. So it was just enough so the comments stopped. I didn't get noticed as much. I still felt pretty good about myself, but I didn't have the banging body that I wanted. I didn't have that six-pack starting to come out that I've always wanted all my life, because there was something that was triggering me. So when I sat there and thought about all this emotional eating I was doing at mum and dad's, and I was at my ideal weight, because I always wanted to look my best when I went home. You know, you see old school friends, or, you know, you're always wondering if you're going to bump into an old boyfriend. You always want to look good when you see them, because you want them to realise what they missed out on. So I always looked my best when I went home, and I always felt my best. And then within about 2 weeks, I'd feel like shit. absolute shit. And I would start putting on the weight, and it was a whole vicious circle. And then also, it wouldn't matter if I was just at home, it would be also a matter of anywhere I went, that if I was looking good and feeling good and I started getting the attention, I'd self-sabotage myself. It was a pattern. So no matter what, and I probably did every freaking diet you can think of. I was a yo-yo dieter. And I always thought it was because it wasn't me. It was never me. It was always that, oh, that diet didn't work. Or no, that wasn't right for me. Or, you know, I always blamed something else. It was never me. Never me. And then I remember sitting there and I had the realization that I did it because I wanted to hide. I didn't want to be seen. I didn't, especially by men. I didn't want to be noticed. I wanted to be that person that was in the background. I didn't want to show up. I would never do a live. I would never put myself out there. I was always the bubbly person at the party, don't get me wrong. I was a lot of fun. But the minute I started feeling that sexual energy in the air, or I started getting, you know, that look that you get from men, that there's a little bit of hunger in their eyes, or there's a little bit of, whoa, hello, like they're seeing you for the first time, I would fucking freak. Absolutely freak. And then when I delve a little bit more into it, I had a lot of blame, shame and guilt. Now I'll explain why. When I was about 8, I got sexually molested. I got sexually molested by my stepfather. Not the one that just passed away. He was the most beautiful man on this planet. And I got raped. Now, when it happened, I didn't really understand what was going on. I was very young. I knew it was wrong. And it took me to a place of a lot of hurt, and it shut me down a lot, and I never told my mother. And I just sort of got on with my life. And he was very apologetic. He was drunk, blah, you know, all that sort of thing. And then when Mum they separated, and about 3 years later, Mum had a new boyfriend, and I got molested. In kicked the whole blame, and the shame and the guilt. I still had shame around what happened, because there's a part of what happened with my stepfather that really triggered shame. But bring on number 2, and I thought, it's fucking me. It's me. I'm portraying this. This is something that I'm actually calling in, because, oh yeah, it happened once, but it never happens twice. Come on, seriously. How unlucky would you have to be for it to happen twice? So then I blame myself. I must have been doing something to attract. So there was something I was doing to attract these men to do this. So obviously, I used to get called a flirt a lot when I was younger, because of my bubbly personality. I've got a bubbly personality, and I preferred hanging out with guys. Sorry, girls. But they were just easy. Everything was easy. And because I had an old brother, and because I had abandonment from my dad leaving when I was 2 months old, I was attracted to men because I wanted to be around them, because I had no father figure. So I realized that I was blaming myself. This happened because of me. Twice, come on. So when I realized that, it was massive. I realized that this was having a huge spiral effect in my life. And I realized that I had to clear this. If I didn't clear this, then I was hiding from everything. I would get to a certain level in my finances, and I would sabotage. I wouldn't push through to my upper level. I would just stay there. I'd get to a certain level in everything. I got to a certain level in my netball. I was a really good netballer. but I didn't want to be seen, so I'd sabotage. Money was, as I said before, was definitely one, because if you have more money, then people see you more. Ooh, that was actually a little bit of a bigger realisation just then. Oh, okay, so you get to a certain level and you don't want to be seen, because wealthy people get seen, don't they? So I would self-sabotage myself. I'd get to my weight, I'd self-sabotage myself. I'd get into my relationship. The minute he started getting close to me and I had to open up and he would see the real me, I would cause some problem, some drama, so he'd leave me. And then I could say, see, abandoned, but I would feel safe. I would feel safe. Because there was that limit that I could only just take myself to in everything in my life. Everything in my life. I never got promotions at work. I was always the best at what I did. But I never pushed myself through. I never ever pushed myself through. Because I was too fucking scared of being seen. So it was time to go to work. Once I realised I had a pattern and that it was really, really, really mucking up my life. Well, it wasn't mucking up, it was stopping me from getting where I wanted to go. It was stopping me from reaching my higher self, my higher level. It was stopping my bank account. It was ruining my relationships. And that's why I never called in the one up until 5 years ago. And I've only really just let the one I love completely in. I mean, we've only just set our wedding date because I've finally allowed myself to be loved. Finally. So when I realised that I wasn't to blame, that it wasn't my fault, when I realised that there was no shame around what happened, there was no shame. There was no shame. It happened. It happened. It happened to me. And it happened for a reason. It happened for a reason. And I had to find out that reason. And that's another reason why I go on my little journey of self-discovery and self-love, is because I want to be the best level of me that I can be. I want to be that level before, when I was a child and all this shit happened in my childhood and it just kept bringing me down and down and down. I want to live in that level up here, not in the level that is my, yeah, it's an excellent zone, but it's not my genius zone. It's not. There's so much more to all of us. We just need to find out the big things that are holding us back. Because everybody can live the ultimate life. Everybody can live up in that cloud. Not the iCloud, because that does your head in. So once I realised that this was playing through my life, but then once I had the massive realisation that it was actually showing up in every part of my life. Every part of my life. Every part of my life. I went to work. I went to work releasing it, releasing the blame, shame and the guilt, which so many people hold for different things. Our childhood is what forms our belief system. So when we have shame, blame, guilt around anything, or even it builds a belief around that. So I had a belief around money, I had a belief around my body, I had a belief around my health, I had a belief around my relationship. So it spiraled into every part of my life. It was really paralysing me from my full potential. And I mean, when you think about your life, is there something that's holding you back? Is there some pattern that you keep doing over and over and over again? Is there something in your life that you look back and it may be slightly different because the lesson hasn't been learned or you haven't released it, that it keeps coming into your life? But is there something that you keep doing, that you don't know why you're doing it, that you don't know why it just keeps playing out all the time? Is there a part of your life that you just feel you can never quite get right, or you can never get to that next level that you want to get to, then you've got a block. And you've got patterns that are formed around it. And you've got a belief system that you need to change. Otherwise, you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. What's the tomb of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. We have to constantly be working on ourselves so we can get to that. We can break through the shit that all the different things that were piled on us. Our heart has had so many things happen to it as we've got older and older, that we've built this shield around it. It's got a complete shield around it, and layer by layer we can remove it. And when you remove your heart and you step into self-love, and it's just, it's a whole new world. The biggest thing is that we need to, one of the biggest things, not the biggest thing, is that we need to understand why we do what we do. Why we keep doing what we do. And it took me 30 plus years to realize that I created the drama in my life. I created the struggle with my weight. I created it. I create everything that you bring into your life, you create, right? So with your thoughts and your feelings. So I was manifesting these different bodies through my feelings. So when I was feeling like I was getting attention, then I would manifest, and boom, I'd put on weight. I'd hold weight. I'd have water retention. Sometimes I didn't even need to eat to put on weight. It was just freaking crazy. Crazy. Let's see if anyone said anything. Hey, Ali. Hey, Lisa. I think all the messages are starting to come in all one by one. Hey, Anne, honey, how are you? Oh, God. All the messages are floating in now. Hey, Kylie. Hey, Edith. Oh, my God. You're all watching. I have it switched over because it throws me when I'm in my zone. And truthfully, sometimes I just go with what I think you guys need to hear. So yeah, that was probably one of the most powerful things in my life that happened to me, is when I had that realization. And I sat in the paddock and I cried. I cried and I cried and I cried and I cried. And I remember Mum coming down and she left me there she said, it was over an hour. Because I had all this stuff just going on in my head. And I relived some of it. I did. I relived it, and it was fucking horrible. It was horrible. But every other time I have stopped myself from going to that place. I have stopped myself because I was too scared. I was too scared about what would come up. I mean, I didn't remember half the stuff of even about the rape and being molested and all that sort of thing until probably 5-6 years ago. I blocked it. I blocked so much of my life because I didn't want to go there, because it was horrible. But I knew if I didn't, then I would just be the same person I was yesterday. And I didn't want that. And I didn't want to keep hurting myself. I didn't want to keep, for instance, working so hard to get somewhere and then just self-sabotage myself. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to free myself. Does anybody understand what I'm saying? Does anybody understand where I'm coming from? I don't know how long you guys have actually been on, I'm sorry. So where I am now, I've only just probably in the last 3 weeks really dealt with this. Or, well, should I say not dealt with it? I've actually released it. Thanks, Ellie. I've probably, yeah. And I'm still releasing it. My whole world shifted. I shit you not, it feels like I have been reborn. It feels like I had a rebirth when I was sitting on that paddock and Mum wrapped her arms around me and said it was going to be okay. She knew. I know she knew. I know she knew. And, you know, her and I have spoken about it because she had blame around it because it happened. But I had to do this. I had to release it because it was showing up in all parts of my life. And how I reacted to people wasn't them, it was me. You know, like the amount of fights I would cause when I hit that bedroom with my partner because I was scared. I was scared to love. We'd hop into bed and I'd cause a fight and I didn't even know I was fucking doing it. That's the scary thing. Or you realise that it's just happened as he's going to sleep shitty and you're lying next to him going, oh my God, why do I keep on doing this all the time? And now I know why. It's nothing to do with him. The right people show up in your lives. It's how you are at that time to how you receive them. Neil was the right man for me. And he stuck through some crap, I can tell you. But I realised that I was avoiding anything sexual in the bedroom. It's probably another reason why I turned to alcohol. Numb the pain. See how it all has just such a huge effect on one thing? I mean, this is a big thing. I mean, I'm not talking about a little thing, but this is a big thing. And as I said, when I realised that I was yo-yo dieting, and I was constantly putting those few extra kgs around me to keep me safe, it was such a realisation. It really was. So then I went to work. Went to work with my coach. Funny thing is, she said to me, I knew it. And that's why she's a good coach, because you've got to let it. I had to come across the realisation by myself. You always do. It's the biggest breakthrough you'll have. And when I released it, it felt like, she felt like I lost 10 kgs. And it was almost like a switch went off. And now I do mindful eating. And I eat for my body. I don't diet. I don't diet at all. I've come into... There's certain things I do that I absolutely love. I have a shake a day. I eat mostly vegetarian. And this has only been the last week and a half I've done this. And I've dropped about 4 or 5 kgs. And today someone said to me, man, you're looking good, you're glowing, look at your skin, you look amazing. Have you lost weight? And it was a guy. And usually I would have felt that, you know, that anxiety, and my chest would have tightened and I would have gone all sweaty and I would have just been just almost like an anxiety attack, you know. I'd be freaking out. I'd be freaking out. And I'd probably come home and stuff my fucking face. Because I was scared. I was scared. Today I stood there and I went, thank you, I feel really good. I received it. I received it. If I can receive that, now I can receive money, I can receive love, I can receive everything into my life that I've desired. Receiving is the most powerful thing you can do. Most powerful thing you can do. Because you can manifest anything you want into your life when you can receive. And things have shifted to me. People that have come into my life have just been, even the last 2 weeks since I've really released this big breakthrough, the people that are coming into my life are just, and the people that I'm reconnecting with from times when I wasn't what I needed to be my full potential for them to be in my life. It's just crazy. It's crazy. Neil and I just invested $350K into a venture. It just came into our life. And it's amazing. Receiving money. I've been having the best fucking sex of my life because I'm receiving. I'm receiving. I'm open. And I feel that shift into my higher self. I'm grounded. Now, I know, don't get me wrong, that there's going to be shit that's going to come up. There's going to be things that you always keep working on yourself. You really do. You never stop, because there's always a higher self that you've got to get to. But where I am now, I know that I can be the most powerful version of myself for what the people around me need me to be. And who you need yourself to be, who I need myself to be. I have been ready all my life to shift into that higher self, but I haven't known what the hell was going on. And there's been lots of little breakthroughs and lots of little shifts I've had and releases and all that sort of thing. And yeah, it's been good, but because I've been doing the work on myself, this breakthrough has been the biggest breakthrough of my life. And I know there's lots of you sitting there that are going, oh shit, it's time to deal with that thing. It's time to deal with that little thing that sits on my shoulder, or what do they call it, the elephant in the room. Because I want to get to that higher self. I want to get to that next level. I want to break that limiting belief I have that I'm not good enough. I never thought I was good enough. I always thought I had to be second because I didn't want to be seen. Blame, shame and guilt will F you every time. Every time. Because it keeps you safe. It'll keep you from breaking free. And I just felt, I mean, as I said, I had this breakthrough when I was at my mum's, and I think that was about 2.5 months ago. 2.5 months ago, I think. And I haven't been ready to share it because I knew I still had things to learn. I knew I still had things to release. Plus I would have been an absolute blithering mess, which is okay because vulnerability is beautiful. But I wanted to be really strong in delivering this message to you guys, to show you that you can get out the other side of the big things that you have going on in your life. You're human. You're human. You're no different to me. But you've got to do the work. You've got to want to do the work. So let's have a look. Has anybody got anything to say? How incredibly fateful that I tuned in tonight. Hang on. Another reason why I can't see your messages. How incredibly fateful that I tuned in tonight. Can't tell you how much I relate. Totally breakthrough for me too. Thanks for sharing. I'm so glad, Anne. So glad. So glad, beautiful. Actually, just after I saw you was when I had my breakthrough. Just after you, when I went home, back to mum's. Interesting, eh? Yeah, Ellie, mums always know. Ellie, he is a warrior. You're talking about Neil? Yeah, he is. He's had lots of growth too. Such an incredible man and one incredible woman. So grateful for you both in my life. Yeah, oh, I'm grateful for you too, beautiful. Oh my God, yes, get a coach has shifted me so much. Me too. Me too. Me too. It's the best thing I ever did. Because you don't see, and I'm a coach, right? And I'm sure there's so many coaches on this page, but you don't see or you don't let yourself go to that place, and you need someone to give you those little nudges. Those little nudges. Little nudges. Until you realise. I think that's about it, guys. I really wanted to come on here and just share it, because it's been a 3-month journey, but where I am now, it's crazy. It's exactly where I want to be. And as I said to you, I don't know if you watched my last live stream, when I was on the rooftop in the spa. We had our own rooftop, we had our own plunge pool spa off our room. And now I told you about 9 months, I think I worked out it was about 10.5 months ago, I manifested that. I manifested this latest business transition we just did. Today, I've actually got in my phone, I've got the transfer for 350k. And it felt good. I didn't freak out. Usually if I would come on and do a live stream like this beforehand, I would be freaking out. I have released so much over the last few months. So much the blame, shame and guilt. That I'm standing here, or sitting here now, being able to deliver this message to you. Because I know some of you need to hear it. I know you need to hear it. So I hope that's really enlightened you, that my biggest, what I really want you to realize and understand is, don't stop working on yourself. Keep going. Keep going. Even if you have little shifts and breakthroughs, keep going. Because when you release those big ones that just step you up into your higher self, it's phenomenal. It's euphoric. The clarity in your head and just your heart, and it's just, yeah, it's really special. It's really special. Keep going. Keep going. I know some of you right now are going through some big times, and I know that right now the universe is chucking a lot of things at people, and I know that, especially relationship-wise, my intuitive coach, spiritual coach, she said that there's a lot of relationship things that are happening in the moment. A lot of people are finding themselves reacting and getting angry and snappy and all that sort of thing. It's normal. Just go through it. Allow yourself to breathe, take a step back and just go through it. You're going through it for a reason. Just know that. What's massive, honey? What else have I got to say? I don't even know why I do. I do these little notes just to print me, just so I don't go off track, because I tend to do that. As I said, I just like to be led where I am. You know what? I think I'm about... Are you getting them too? Yeah. It's a bit of a crazy time right now again. And I think it's a time that we just need to really honour ourselves. Really honour ourselves and understand that everything right now is actually happening for a reason. It really is happening for a reason. And not to be too hard on ourselves. You hear me? Don't be too hard on yourself. You're no different from anybody else. Believe me. Believe me. Alright then guys, well thank you. If you're coming in on the replay, I'd love you just to say hi and just send me a bit of love and the group a bit of love. Let me know where you're tuning in from, just so I know that you've watched it, because I really want people to understand that there is a light at the other end of the tunnel. 5 years ago, I was broken, absolutely broken. And there's been times that I've wanted to give up. I just wanted to go back into my little hole. It was easy that way. It was easy just being back in the shadows. But if I didn't, I wouldn't be here, sharing my message with you guys. And it's just, I wouldn't be showing up in my own fucking life. You know? Showing up in my own life. Honouring the people that are around me with being who I am. Not sitting there in the shadows. Or being the grumpy little bitch that I was. Alright guys, now I do have 2 more spots on that special one-on-one 6-week program I'm doing. So if you are interested, shoot me a PM. 2 spots. 2 spots. Edith. Little shifts I've had have been amazing, as my friends have noticed. I'm so grateful to you, knowing that this is a journey. Oh, hang on, I need to go on my computer because it only has enough on it. You can only see a little bit of it. So when I get beautiful long ones, I have to go in here and put my glasses on. Edith, I've noticed that you are glowing. I've seen a few photos of you and your smile is just, it actually, when I see you, it lights me up because I see how happy you are. I really do. Was that from the, did that get help through the self-love program, sweetheart? Oh, I've got a whole lot of people that were waiting to get in. Oh, I'm sorry if I only just accepted you. Watch the replay. Okay, so let me just go. I'm just going to go in and have a look. The little shifts I've had have been amazing, and some of my friends have noticed. Yay! I'm so grateful to you. Baby, grateful to you. You did the work. You did the work. It's the biggest thing. Knowing that this is a journey and that we need to keep working at it all the time on ourselves. Yeah, definitely your help. Oh, honey, that's so good to hear. And the other thing is that it's, how do I say it? It's you do need to keep working on yourself. And it's doing it with love and acceptance. It's not doing it that you just keep go until your head explodes. It's taking time to breathe. And that's another reason why I have a couple of weeks in between different things I do, because people need time to integrate their new self, because you're releasing so much. And that's what you've just been doing. You've been releasing. So now you're integrating into that next level of yourself. That higher level of you is always sitting there. It's just waiting for you to catch up. It's just waiting for you to catch up. And when you do the work on yourself, that's when you catch up, and that's when you get closer and closer and closer to that person. Mwah, Edith, I'm so happy. Yay! That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, beautiful. And Ali, you've had lots of huge shifts and changes, massive. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. I know that you've just released some massive things out of your life that were holding you back. When we spoke the other day. Calling it in, babe. Start calling it in. This is the time for you to manifest. Because when you're at that high vibe with the feelings that you've got, beautiful. Beautiful. I don't think there's anything else. Alright guys, well I'm going to shoot off now. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for holding a space for me while I went through that. I could really feel it. I could feel that you guys were holding a space, and I'm glad I could share it with you without being a blubbering mess. I did a bit of grounding work before I came on, I can tell you. And I was ready to share it. I was ready to open up to the tribe. So keep posting, keep sending love into the group. And 2 more spots left on my one-on-one 6-month program. PM me if you would like a spot. And have the most beautiful week. The most beautiful, beautiful week. Sending lots of love and high vibes to all you. And I'll see you in the next few days when I do another live. Alright guys, have a wonderful... Oh, thank you for the love heart. I love seeing the love hearts. I'm all about love. Look at this, but it's on backwards, isn't it? When I moved in here, that was here. How funny is that, love? So have the most epic week, guys. And if you're coming on, watching the replay, please just say hi and let me know where you're from. And I will see you all in the tribe during the week. Lots of love, guys. See ya.